Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Do not watch this video if you haven't caught up with this week's episode of Game of Wool. The person being cast off this week is... Hello and welcome to Game of Wool, the cast-off in our lovely haberdashery of dreams. Each week, I'm going to be talking to the person that leaves our competition. Let's get knitting! This is our first week. And we had quite the week with giant sofas.
When we walk in, we really want to go, wow.
And Fair Isle tank tops. It makes you do that. It's like...
I find this quite emotional. Sorry, because it's just so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And the first person to leave our competition was the lovely Gordon. And I must say, Gordon, you brought a smile to so many people's faces. It's just your personality was just so infectious. I guess I want to ask you firstly, where do you think it all started to unravel?
Oh, time and mistakes.
Mistakes.
No, mistakes.
Yeah, I was like, mistakes.
Oh.
Sorry, Gordon.
Sorry.
Right off the bat, I'm really getting into your trauma.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, no, to be fair, I don't think doing the steeks was a mistake.
It was a time.
It was a time. The steeks took no time, and actually, because I'm not used to knitting Fair Isle and Pearl, that would have been slower for me. I had a couple of disasters which happened off camera in some of the periods when we were knitting off camera, where I had to go back quite a long way.
No.
Had that not happened, I'm not saying I would have had a very polished perfection finish, but I would have finished. I know I would. So frustration.
How was it in the yarn barn, knitting under pressure? Because I'm not sure if that's something that you've ever had to deal with.
Never had to do it before, and I'll never do again.
Yeah, because knitting, I don't know if about you, but for me, knitting and crocheting is like that calming, peaceful time where you're able to sit and just be with your own thoughts and be present in the moment.
Yeah.
In that yarn barn, it's a
Yeah.
completely different story,
Different
right?
thing, yes, and always someone wanting to know something, isn't there?
Yes.
Someone wants to ask you something. Someone wants an explanation about something. So it is different. It is different.
So when it comes to steeking, would you be able to give our viewers a little bit of an explanation as to what it actually is?
Steeking is where you actually cut holes in your knitting, which is a very brave thing to do.
Yes.
You know about steeking, don't you?
Yes.
You've done it.
I've never steeked.
You've never been brave enough.
No, I've never been brave enough.
Gosh, he's cut his steeking.
And
I would rather use an overlock sewing machine that cut and kept the
Yes.
seams, locked them in, or use the zigzag stitch on a sewing machine. I don't know if I could do the cutting a hole in it.
Well, because someone years ago found that knitting will not unravel if you cut it vertically. It'll unravel if you cut it horizontally, but cutting vertically, it doesn't. You maybe lose one column, that's all.
Oh, really?
It won't come out. And when I do it, on my own, for my own garments, where no one will see it, I don't even stitch it down. I just cut it and let it curl back.
Really?
It never budges.
So is this one you've made?
No.
Okay. Well, I thought I'd ask. So what are some of the things that you've learned from doing this competition that you've taken into the rest of your knitting life?
Oh my goodness. Do you know, I really don't know, other than don't knit under pressure, don't knit against the clock. I mean, I have done it before. I used to take commissions for knitting and people wanted them for a certain time, but that was usually in days, not minutes.
Yes.
You had a date you had to knit it by, not an hour and a minute. The wonderful friendships, and I don't think any one of us will leave this barn not having learned something. It'd be a very poor experience if we hadn't. We've all learned something from each other. I'm sure we have.
Yeah, and it is really actually amazing that no matter how experienced anyone is as a knitter, you're always learning something.
Always, every day.
So what actually inspired you to want to get involved with the Game of Wool?
I knew when I came into the competition that I wouldn't be the only male knitter, but I just wanted male knitters to be represented. I want men who knit and do other similar crafts, I want that to be normalised. generations older than me, it isn't normalised. For generations younger than I am, it's much more normal. But I would like it just all stigma of a man knitting to
go away.
Just go away. Yes, no more gender assigned than, you know,
Anything else?
any other hobby or activity.
I mean, I agree. Like, at the end of the day, we're just knitting, we're living our lives, we're enjoying it, and we love it. It's not hurting anyone.
I mean, what's the difference between making an item of clothing and making a fishing net?
Exactly.
But no one would look twice if you're sitting in a harbour side
Making
making
a
a
fishing.
fishing. No one would think that was odd.
No.
What's the difference?
No, exactly. There is no difference. In the spirit of that, before we let you go, I'm going to ask every knitter that gets cast off what their one piece of advice is to knitters or crocheters, beginner or somebody that's been knitting for ages.
So one thing that it has taken me a very, very long time to get comfortable with, it's a great phrase I heard someone saying, there is no knitting police. So don't get hung up on the tiny little things. If you need to fudge a little corner to make something come out properly, don't panic about it. Just make something that you like, that looks the way you want it to look, and don't get hung up about the little tiny corners. If it looks right, it's right.
I think once you watch this show back, you will very much think that Di and Sheila are the chief constables of the knitting police force.
Well,
Every stitch counts.
You were steeking.
yes.
There's no cohesion, is there?
It hasn't been neatly finished
No.
at all.
Well, you need knitting police in a competition,
Yeah,
but
that's
day
true.
to day there
Yes.
are none.
No, that is 100% true. Like, push yourself outside of your comfort zone, try new things. If you make a mistake, you can cover it up, you can go back, you can fix it. There's lots of ways that you can do that, right?
That's right.
It's very good. Thank you so much, Gordon, for joining me for our very first cast off. That was episode 1, and you'll have to join us again next week to see who we speak to. And if you haven't caught up on the first episode of Game of War, you can watch it now on Channel 4.